All right, let's go back and hear from some more people on Discord. We are going to go next to, oh, I don't know. How about Rose from Oregon? Rose, welcome to the program. What's on your mind today?
I'm curious, do you think that when Democrats write articles about polls saying we should freak out,
Yeah.
i.e., David Axelrod, that someone's got to them? Maybe somebody was like, I'll cut you a check to write this stupid op-ed.
No, just doesn't make, there's no evidence of that. And it doesn't even seem like there's really a monetary value to attach to it in that transactional way. I don't think that that's the case. Now, David Axelrod may get paid for writing op-eds in general. He may be on some kind of contract to write op-eds, but I don't think that anybody's going and saying, "Hey, I'll slip you 30 grand if you
Yeah, it's
write
got to be
that."
like $100, right?
Yeah, I don't. I have no reason to think that that's going on.
It just seems so it just seems so goofy that it's like, why are you guys doing this? Why aren't you just talking about positive things that have taken place? And
Yeah, I mean,
oh,
listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with recognizing Biden 2024 is not God's gift to Democratic candidates. It's okay to say, okay, there's a lot of ways in which Biden is not the ideal candidate. At the same time, you've got the power of incumbency, so far, a pretty good economy, and a lot of people who, if they say, hey, you get a chance to do 2020 again, are you going for Trump this time, are going to say, hell no, I'm going to be out there making sure it doesn't go to Trump. So I don't think it's the end of the world the way some people do. I could be wrong, Rose, right? Maybe I'm wrong and Biden gets blown out of the water. I just don't see it.
I mean, I think that it would completely ignore incumbent elections in the past. I mean,
Right.
I feel like everybody is just like they've like zapped their brain and forgot what we do with incumbents.
Well, people are saying it's different. We've never had an incumbent who was so old and seemed low energy or whatever the case may be. Yeah, we've also never had a situation in which a former president lost re-election and then is running again while facing 4 criminal trials. I mean, it's unprecedented in every sense of the word.
I went to work for somebody that was 86 when I went to work for them, and they were sharp as a tack. And people were like, well, what if he dies? And here he is, 96, still kicking, so it's like the guy, he didn't even get old till he was 92. That's when he slowed
Yeah,
down.
and listen, Biden and Trump are almost the same age. Trump's obese. I go with Biden on the health issue of longevity. That's what the actuaries are saying when they look at it.
Well, this kind of leads me into, I have another question for you, or just a comment maybe, but in terms of people just sort of ignoring the message in the wrong voice. And so like the Tucker deep fake, it seemed
Yeah,
to work well in that direction. I thought that immediately yesterday. I was like, well, maybe this is positive. Before you ever read what the OP said, I
right.
was like, well, this is positive because this is like hearing something they should hear in a voice they might listen to rather than
Right.
just skip the video.
Yeah, if my
But
entire show was redubbed to sound like Tucker Carlson, maybe it would pull in a bunch of right wingers. Who knows? You may be onto something.
but you couldn't go the other way. You couldn't dress up a Ted Cruz statement or a Rick Santorum, or let's
Right.
even just go worse. Like, let's go further back. Like, you couldn't dress up a Strom Thurmond statement in AOC's voice. It
Yeah,
wouldn't pass the sniff test.
that's true. No, that's very interesting. That's true. I'm going to think about that more, but that's an interesting point.
And I just would like to comment back to the other caller, Ellie. I don't think that your comments on trans people are ever. I don't. I always feel like I'm learning something, and I am of the demographic. So I feel like, I mean, I really actually appreciated a few weeks ago. You had the show with the war photographer on. I thought that was an amazing interview, and there were some
Good.
callers that have been calling in with trans stuff.
Yep.
And I thought that I loved that you were responding to these callers. I thought that it was very well stated. And there's comments about people being like, well, you don't want your daughter to see a penis in the locker room. One, these comments almost always come from penis owners. So they're like, what's this bodily self-hatred or something here? But I get the point. But something that people act like, again, trans men are left out of this conversation, but they act like trans women are in the bathroom waiting with their body. They've weaponized our body against
Yep.
us. But for many women taking hormone therapy, your parts aren't on call. It's not like that, and they act like, you're in the bathroom like masturbating or something. And like, that's a part of our body things change quite a bit. And
Yeah, and there's
those
already
people,
laws against, behavior. Plenty of behavior is already not allowed in bathrooms, and the trans issue doesn't really change that. Rose, I'm going to let you go because I have so many people waiting. It's great to hear from you. Let's go next to Yahia from Virginia, who is currently undecided. Welcome to the program. What's on your mind today? Yahia from Virginia, you're on the air. What's going on? And last chance for Yahia from Virginia. All right. Sad we couldn't make it happen. Let's go to Donald from California. Donald from California, welcome to the program. What's on your mind today? Oh, boy. Donald's asleep at the switch, not even accepting my invitation. That's too bad. Let's go to Brendan. Brendan from New York, who is currently undecided. What's going on, Brendan?
Hey, David. You wouldn't know this, but you and I are kind of similar age. I think coming up, one piece of sort of like political orthodoxy was this idea that George W. Bush not benefited himself, but approval rating wise benefited from 9/11.
I
And
mean,
I guess
listen, you just have to look at his approval rating. It's absolutely the case that his approval rating went sky high after 9/11. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So my question was kind of we sometimes look at existential threats as the sort of thing that can definitely buoy a candidate. Do you think that a similar type of event, not necessarily a 9/11, I'm not wishing anything, obviously, but do you think that we would have a similar response in terms of unification? Does it matter the candidate or person, or do you think it's more of a how the rest of us would respond type of thing?
This is a
What do you
really
think of
good
the
question.
considerations?
After 9/11, there was incredible unity in the United States. It wasn't total. Not everybody supported George W. Bush. And once George W. Bush attacked the, quote, wrong country after 9/11, support went down and down and down. But there was a period where the country really was, hey, we're in this thing together, sort of stuff. I would love to be able to tell you, Brendan, that if something like that were to happen now, the country would also rally around Biden and his approval would hit, I think it was like 80% or so that George W. Bush, 81, 82%, something like that. The difference, I believe, is that today versus 9/11, the Republican Party has become such an abortive political project. It has become so partisan. Many of its voters have become so extreme that if there were to be a similar attack under Joe Biden, I think Joe Biden never gets to 80% approval because of this contingent of hardcore extreme right-wingers who will never get behind a Democratic president. I wish it weren't the case, but that's where I think we are right now.
That's fair. Brain teaser. Do you think it would be Biden or Obama would inspire more or less unity? Or do you think it's one of these things that's sort of out of their hands?
I'm not sure I know what you're saying. If there was a terrorist attack with Biden versus Obama as president, which one would inspire more unity?
Yeah.
It's tough to answer because this problem that I'm talking about, the radicalization of the Republican Party, is way worse now than it was when Obama was president. So I don't really have a good answer. You know, if you replace Biden today with Obama and there's a terrorist attack, I don't know. They're both pretty acutely hated by the right wing at this point.
Cool. Thanks.
All right. Brendan from New York, great to hear from you. You might remember that a few years ago, the show got hacked and a bunch of money was stolen and we never got it back. But I now have more peace of mind because I'm using Aura. Our sponsor, Aura, is your all-in-one tool for protecting your online and financial accounts. Aura alerts you anytime your personal information is found on the dark web or data breaches like social security number, login credentials, financial accounts, and you get super fast alerts if a criminal does something like try to open a bank account in your name or take out a credit card in your name. Aura also lets you instantly lock your Experian credit file with a single click to stop unwanted inquiries into your credit history. Aura will monitor your bank accounts, home and auto titles. All of these things really just safeguard you against fraud of all kinds. Aura even protects your phone by letting you block and screen spam calls and texts. And Aura has parental controls for your kids' devices. You can restrict apps or manage screen time, set focus time to make sure they're doing homework instead of binging YouTube or whatever the case may be. You can try Aura for free for 14 days. at aura.com/Pacman. The link is down below.